What is up, Karma Nation? Welcome into another edition of NBA Live for Thursday, March 25th. I'm your host, Bales, here with Joey. Today was the NBA trade deadline. Not as ridiculous as most were anticipating. Some of the bigger trades, the lone right went to Sacramento. Vucevic, actually, in a really big deal. Basically, Vucevic for Wendell Carter Jr., and then two firsts. Vuse to the Bulls, Carter to the Magic. Otto Porter also went there. Aaron Gordon to Denver, Evan Fournier to Boston. These are all just off the top of my head. That's more or less the big ones. Guys like Kyle Lowry stayed. Rajon Rondo went to the Clippers for Lou Williams, essentially. LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond are working on buyouts. It looks like Aldridge is going to go to Miami. Miami also traded virtually nothing for Victor Oladipo, which
Yeah.
kind of got housed. I guess the only other ones that are really of note, I would say, Daniel Tice got traded to Chicago for Mo Wagner. Um, I think that might be. I think that's all of them that are gonna have
You
like a major impact.
you forgot Norman Powell to the Trailblazers too for Trent and Trenton Hood. So that was I like that trade. That was probably my favorite trade of the day.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
good.
but
Also for tonight, Tony Bradley got traded for Georgetown. It was
Dwight Howard,
yeah, Howard. So
I'm
Howard's getting a
excited.
lot
Yeah.
bigger minutes. I think we can get started. I don't think there's really too much in terms of injury. Derrick Rose is questionable. Jimmy Butler's questionable. Goran Dragic questionable. I think that's basically it. I believe Danny Green and Seth Curry are both questionable for Philly, so that could open up some shooting guard minutes if they're both out. But it's not like we have, a 10-game slate again where a ton of weird stuff's going to happen. It's only 5 games and only a few questionable players. So we should be able to break this down and we can get started at point guard. Joey, I'll let you go first. Tell me what you're looking at.
All right, so we got two real spend up spots, I guess, just because LeBron James and Steph Curry are out. We got Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook at the top. We just saw Washington and New York play each other last game. Turned into a blowout, which sucked. So maybe we can see some recency bias on these guys, but I'm excited to attack this game again. I forgot to check Popcorn Machine out and see what was going on. I don't know if they all sat the final fourth quarter or not, but only played 29 minutes, Russell Westbrook, so I'm expecting they sat out the whole fourth quarter, or most of the fourth quarter. But I'm going to go right back to Russell Westbrook, probably as my top point guard play. He's been killing it the past, 6 or 7 games. He's 59 or more points in every single one of those games recently. He's topped 80 twice. Those triple doubles bonuses are coming in handy. Even with Bradley Beal playing, he's still dominating. So excited, and looks like Mo Wagner's gone. So maybe some more rebounding opportunities for him as well. As long as this game does not blow out, I'm sure it's a close spread again, like it was last time. So Rush shot 3 for 14 last game, expecting that to go up to 40 to 50%. New York plays a little slow pace, but Washington plays no defense and high pace, so if they can get that game going a little bit, that's probably one of my game stacks I'm looking at, just to pay up for probably like Randall, and Randall's 10-2 though, but looking to probably game stack that game as much as I can. And then you have Damian Lillard at 10K. I'll probably look for that 9K to find Russell Westbrook, or I'm probably not going to play Damian Lillard tonight. CJ McCollum's back. So I just feel like his ceiling is limited with CJ back. He did get dropped 50 in, I think, CJ's first game back, 50 real points, but since then he's kind of cooled down a bit, hasn't topped 45 fantasy points since then. So looking spend up spots above 10K, I'm looking at Russell Westbrook and fading Damian Lillard. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Westbrook is pretty clear the number one, uh, just like overall. If you don't take price into account, I think he's so much better than Lillard against Miami tonight that like I definitely wouldn't touch Lillard. I will say Lillard always comes with plenty of upside. I just
Yeah.
don't think that it's really that great of a matchup. And everyone's gonna look at Westbrook playing the Knicks and be like, it's such a pace down spot, which it is, but it has the second highest total on the slate at 224 points. So who cares? You only have 5 games to choose from. I think Russell Westbrook is a completely elite play tonight. I think my point guard pool will probably only be 5 players. I think it's going to be relatively easy to fit any of those 5 in, and Russell Westbrook is the only one above 9K. If you drop down a little, well, actually, the other guy that isn't in just one game that I'm looking at, CJ McCollum at 7,200. It's just way too cheap. He played 38 minutes the other night, I believe. He's going to play upwards of 40 minutes again tonight. And prior to his injury, he was like 82, 83, mid-8s. There's no reason he should be 7,200. It's just way too cheap.
Yeah.
And then the final 3 are all in the Golden State Sacramento game for me. I think that Jordan Poole at 61 is completely fine. And then De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton are both a little too cheap for the matchup, in my opinion. So between Westbrook, CJ McCollum, and then De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, and Poole, I think those are more or less the 5 that I'm going to be looking at for point guard. I do think there's other options you can consider, but who else are you looking at here?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to Halliburton. I had an amazing lineup last night, but I switched off of a 300-point lineup last second when Harden got rolled out. I ended up on Luka. I would have won my $200 tournament by 30 points or so. So kind of upset with that, but I loved Halliburton last night, and I'm probably just gonna end up playing him tonight. You got a 300-point boost, but it's Golden State. They don't scare me defensively. It should be a high-scoring game. So I'm probably going to be looking at Golden State, Sacramento, and then Washington, New York as my 2 games I'm going to be most heavyweight on. We're still waiting on that New York news with Peyton and Rose. So those guys are in. Definitely fade quickly at 5-5. But if those guys are out, if both those guys are out, I'm probably going to be looking at quickly as one of my top plays. But we do have Anthony Simons down there at 3K. Definitely interesting play with Hood and Trent getting traded. So at only 3K, he's probably going to be someone I'm looking at for value. I don't think... Do they have any other guards that will play outside of Lillard and McCollum?
Any other actual guards? Not that are going to take big minutes, but... they could literally just play Lillard and McCollum 40 minutes each, and then they could just focus heavily on big minutes for Cantor, and then you have Carmelo, Covington, and then if they want to play Nasir Little, I could see an instance where Anthony Simons only plays like 15 minutes tonight. With that said, I could also see him playing 20-25, so I think he's a fine tournament option, but not.
I get that. Because if we're getting Damian Lillard 40+ minutes, he might be in play at 10K. But I'm probably going to be looking at Anthony. I only play GPP, so I'll probably be looking at Anthony Simons as one of my favorite spend down spots, especially as a guard. Only 3K just provides so much upside. Just because there's no one else to handle the ball. So they're either just going to run those 2 guys 40+ minutes, which, I mean, CJ got the bump from 25 minutes to 38 minutes, so looks like he's completely off his minutes limit, but still I assume they're going to be a little cautious and not play him 40+ minutes. So just looking low, I'm probably going to be playing Anthony Simons outside of the other guys we talked about, but that's probably all I'm looking at for point guard.
Yeah, just as some other options that I think you can consider in tournaments. Derek White, 58 is fine. Ben Simmons at 86, I don't love, especially against the Lakers, but I do think it's fine. Dennis Schroeder against Philly, not my favorite, but at 68, he's fine for tournaments. And then if you want to drop down a little bit more, Kendrick Nunn is 46, and Terrence Mann with Lou Williams out of town is only 3,500. Then obviously you already talked about Simon, so I don't have any issues with any of them in tournaments. But once again, I'm probably just going to stick to the 5 that we named early, and we can just move over to shooting guard here. Who are you looking at here? There's a few spend ups, but not like the elite price. You obviously have Bradley Beal at 92, then it drops to Paul George, and then we're down to McCollum, and then everyone else is under 7K. So Just who are you looking at overall for shooting guard that we haven't already affirmed at that point?
Yeah, these LA guys are getting a little too expensive. I don't know if I can play Horton Tucker. I was expecting him to get traded, but I guess they weren't able to trade him. But 20, if he's only getting 20 to 25 minutes, I don't think I want him at 5K, 5-6. Wiggins has been screwing everyone over recently. Ended up with 17 after his 66 and 37. But it's Sacramento. Hopefully that means his ownership is lower for recency bias. I think it was a little chalky when he dropped 17. So definitely in play for GPPs. Would not trust him in cash, but if he's going to go low owned, he's definitely an amazing leverage play. Sacramento plays no defense, high pace. I'm sure these young guys for Golden State will love going high pace with them. So 6-7 definitely provides a ceiling, but that floor, as we see, is pretty low. He went back to his old scoring some points with absolutely no peripherals, like we saw when he was in Minnesota. So if he's hopefully doesn't get you 20 and then just 2 assists and 2 rebounds. So if you can get those rebounds up, high pace means more rebounding opportunities. So definitely in play there. A lot of these guys are point guard eligible that we mentioned earlier. So any other guys I'm looking at? I was surprised Duncan Robinson going to get traded, but Portland doesn't play too much defense. So if you want to take a chance on his 3-point shot falling, he doesn't do a lot of peripherals. But he's going to shoot, especially if Dragic is questionable. So if he does miss, you're going to need some scoring. And Duncan Robinson provides that with those 3-point bonus as well. So interesting leverage play there if you want to go there. Paul George is getting a little cheap. His price seems to be falling. He fell over 8K for the first time for a while. San Antonio, this is Kawhi's area for that revenge narrative. But we we just saw that last game. I don't think he did too much. I forgot. I almost played him last game, but I decided not. I think both their prices fell, Kawhi and Paul George. And with Lou Williams getting traded, could be an interesting for both those guys. But Paul George provides plenty of upside at only 7-8. So if this game doesn't turn into a blowout like we saw last game, I mean, it could definitely turn into a blowout, but hopefully not. Because this is a back-to-back in the same arena. So you know Pop's not going to get disrespected twice. So if he's going to get 38-plus minutes, he's definitely a good play and provides plenty of upside.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Paul George is one of the better shooting guards on the slate, along with McCollum. I have no issues with Bradley Beal. I just find it hard to pay 9-2 for him
Yeah.
against New York. You can drop down 1,400 and get Paul George. Then, like you said, Andrew Wiggins is a really, really good play against Sacramento. On the other side, I do really like Buddy Hield. His minutes are more or less locked in. At 6,500, you're kind of getting up there, but he does have so much scoring upside that it's not really a big issue, and he actually can contribute in multiple categories, which is kind of weird since he came in kind of as a pure scorer for the NBA. Outside of that, it's kind of point guard options. I do believe that Duncan Robinson's reasonable at 4,500. You're just kind of banking on a shot. And if you want the minutes, Contavious Caldwell-Pope at 37 isn't really that bad. But that's probably more or less what I'm going to be looking at for shooting guard. At small forward, you already mentioned the Kawhi revenge game. I do think the Kawhi is a fine play. 88 is just, it's just a little too cheap for him as a player. I don't really ever think that he should be under 9K, especially when you get the revenge working. Not that I'm really.
You're getting in on the revenge with me?
Nah, not really. Honestly, I don't really think it matters, especially because it's not his first game back or anything. Outside of that, you have Hield and Wiggins, who are both solid options. I think that Harrison Barnes, similar to Buddy Hield here, is just going to play massive minutes. He's actually been performing well at 6,300 against Golden State. I have no problems taking a shot there. I know that he's another guy that, doesn't have the ridiculous ceiling compared to most, but he can really go off. And if we're talking revenge, he used to play for Golden State
Oh, yeah.
years ago. So might as well just stick on that revenge, right?
Oh, yep.
Two more options that are a bit cheaper that I don't really have any issues with. Kelly Oubre, I wouldn't play him in cash. This dude's more up and down than anyone in the entire league, but he does come with plenty of upside. And then Marcus Morris should be locked into 30 plus minutes at only 4,800. I think that's a really good play. I think he's a safe option. You can take your shot. RJ Barrett's been playing well. I have no problems whatsoever with him, um, especially against Washington. He's coming off a pretty big game, played at almost 40 minutes in a blowout, so you know that the minutes are more or less going to be safe. If you want to drop down much cheaper, Nicholas Batum is only 3,700, and he should be locked into pretty big minutes. I have no problems whatsoever with a guy like Jimmy Butler. He's questionable, though. I'm also not really going to prioritize him. I don't think that this is really the spot to take the shot. But I do have really no issues with Jimmy Butler tonight. I think that's honestly it. If you want to take a shot on like Derrick Jones Jr., he'll see the minutes with Portland trading multiple guys, but nothing too ridiculous. I wouldn't make him a priority.
He's a revenge too.
Yeah,
Plenty of revenge. Yeah.
There's a lot of small forward revenge tonight.
Yeah, surprisingly. So yeah, you always have Jimmy Butler. He always provides that ceiling. He always has a chance for that triple double upside. He hasn't gotten it in a while. Has he gotten a triple double this season? I'm not sure. But he always has that double double upside for sure, and triple double coming in. It's Portland. Portland doesn't play too much defense. With CJ back, they play a little better, but he can definitely get you that 25-point triple double upside. If at 9K, that's definitely something I would be willing to take a shot on. And then two other guys you didn't mention. Alec Burks with no Reggie Bullock is definitely an interesting play against Washington. I want to get a lot of those, especially if Rose and Peyton are out. Definitely more scoring opportunities for Burks. And against Washington, I got no problem with that. And then the other one with Lonnie Walker out, if you want to take a chance, Devin Vasily played 22 minutes. I'm not sure if some of those were the blowout minutes, but definitely could be interesting ceiling, and we could see LA blow them out again because there's really not much San Antonio has to compete with them. LA is one of the top teams in the league, so definitely could be an interesting play there, but I hate playing San Antonio guys. Trey Lyles got traded too, so could definitely open up some more of a rotation there. But that's probably all I'm looking to add. Or we have Trevor Ariza too, could be a little interesting. Miami traded a couple of guys, so going up against Portland, I think that's also a revenge. So a lot of revenge.
It's just all revenge tonight.
I guess I saw Trevor Ariza got traded 11 times, and that's an NBA record. So he has so many revenges, I guess. But yeah, if he's going to play 25 plus minutes again, it's definitely worth taking a shot on him. He's finally back after not playing at all this season. So 3 straight games of minutes increase for him. 3 straight games, of course, with field goals. Attempts increase with those minutes. He's definitely going to shoot more. So if he can get above 25 minutes, he's definitely an interesting play at only 3-1 if you're looking for some solid relief. Again, like it's Portland, so not too much scary defensively wise. So he's probably what I'm looking at small forward. And like you mentioned earlier, Nazir Little could be an interesting play as well at only 3K if he's going to get 20 plus minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Moving to power forward, this is a weird spot because I feel like all the top power forward options are also small forward eligible. Someone like Kyle Kuzma, he even kind of sticks out of power forward where it's not quite as deep as small forward tonight, which is a little weird to say because small forward is always super shallow. But, like a bunch of the guys that we mentioned at small forward can also be used to power forward, and they're the top players in my opinion. I do think you have a few other options that you can consider, but who are you looking at here?
Who I'm looking at, of course, you got Julius Randle at the top there. 10-2's paying basically for a ceiling. So it's kind of tough, but it is an amazing matchup against Washington. If Thibs is just going to run them into the ground, 38 minutes in a blowout win, definitely could be interesting at 10-2, but I don't think I can pay all the way up for him. There's some salary to get him, so he might see some ownership, but I probably don't want to go there. And then you have Tobias Harris. He's always in play with Embiid out. He can get you that 40 plus points that you need at 8K. And I forgot Kelly Olynyk got traded, so maybe I'm probably gonna end up going Trevor Ariza. They're short bigs, so definitely could be interesting there. And then you have Kyle Kuzma, like you mentioned. He's getting expensive, but they just really don't have anyone else. If we did end up getting that Schroeder news, if Schroeder and Talon Horton Tucker got traded, but they obviously didn't, Kuzma would have been an elite play, and we've been talking about more Lakers guys, but since they're still there, it's kind of tough to play. 7K, you're kind of paying for his ceiling. I'm probably going to end up going back to Rashawn Holmes. He kind of screwed me over last night. I missed a monkey knife fight 4 for 4 because he got into foul trouble and missed by 0.4 points, unfortunately. But gets another good matchup against Golden State. Golden State struggles inside, so he should have definitely a lot of putback dunks opportunities tonight. So they don't really scare me too much interior wise. 7-3 is kind of expensive, but he can definitely get you way over 40 points with that double bonus. But that's probably my main. I'm probably gonna end up trying to spend up at power forward. There's some spend downs, but a lot of those are small forward eligible as well. But that's probably what I'm mainly looking at. I guess Bielitsa did get Bielitsa got traded, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so does that open up any more on Sacramento? Maybe we could just see some more Holmes opportunities because Bagley's still out. I guess they might just run. So they're not going to run Whiteside and Holmes together. I guess maybe a lot more minutes for Barnes, maybe.
They could play mid too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess we got him. He's 3K, so I guess if you want to take a shot, if he gets up to 15 minutes, he's been pretty good points per minute wise. So definitely could be an interesting play. I don't expect the game to get a blowout, but if the game does blow out for some reason, you'll get an extra couple minutes as well.
Yeah, I think there's a few more guys that can be used in tournaments. Markieff Morris is a little expensive at this point, but I think he's fine for tournaments. Keldon Johnson, Rui Hachimura, Robert Covington, or Carmelo Anthony both should get solid minutes, and then Draymond Green against Sacktown. I think all of them are more or less fine in tournaments. None of them should be cash playable, I don't think. But power forward's kind of a weaker position tonight. I feel like Harrison Barnes or Marcus Morris kind of just really, really stand out. But we can move to center. I think that center is one of the top positions on the entire slate.
I always love centers. There's always so many good plays.
You don't even have to spend up. Like Julius Randle, obviously you can. Bam Adebayo, I'm fine with, but he doesn't really stick out. I feel like the guys that I'm really looking at are Montrezl Harrell at 7. This is in order of price as well. Enes Kanter 6'6", Vika Zubac 5'6", Dwight Howard 5'5", and James Weissman 4'8". All of them make more or less elite options. Even Mitchell Robinson at 5'1", I have no problems whatsoever if you want to take a shot on him in tournaments. I think Zubac and Howard are probably the two cash guys. You can probably just play them together too if you want. James Weissman, I really like in tournaments because they said that they want to get his minutes up, and they really have done it. And obviously, we know that he's a really good point per minute type of player. And then, just Harrell and Kanter have been playing well. I don't necessarily love the matchup for Kanter, but he's only 66, so I'm not really scared off by it. And then I guess the last guy that I would consider tonight would be Alex Len with Mo Wagner out. Maybe he could get up to like 25 minutes, and we know that he's just an elite per minute guy. So 4-2, I don't really mind that, but that's more tournaments. Who are you looking at here?
Yeah, I like all those guys. I usually like to get a little leverage. I might end up playing Bam Adebayo most likely as my top play, just for GPP wise. He's kind of volatile, but he can definitely get you that 40 plus, and his counter defense doesn't scare me at all. So he could definitely be in store for 45, 50 points tonight. If he can get that triple double, I mean, he gets a good amount of assists. So if he can get that ceiling assist mark for you, he can definitely be the highest scoring center on the slate. I guess there's not much to pay up for outside of him. Usually there's a lot of pay up spots at
Mhm.
center, but just there really isn't much tonight. I'm probably we got Dwight Howard revenge too. Lots of revenge.
I
But
mean,
uh,
everything.
yeah, but definitely Dwight Howard with no Tony Bradley probably ends up. I don't think they have any really other centers, but there's I guess LA can go a little small because they really only have Montrezl Harrell to pay up for. I don't think does Philly have any other centers? And Marcus,
Probably. What's up?
I guess Marcus All's back too, so they got two centers, so we could see a lot from Dwight.
I would guess. Uh, I feel like Howard's gonna play like high 20s, and then they're probably gonna run small ball with like Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah,
Would be my guess.
they got Mike Scott there to play center as well. But at 5'5", I assume Dwight gets the start. He's probably going to get a lot of ownership as well. But he definitely becomes a good play. And then you got James Wiseman there too. Definitely great play. The projections portal loves him. Sacramento, we saw Clint Capella just go off on Sacramento last time. High pace means a lot more rebounding opportunities, a lot more putback opportunities for him. But I'll probably end up my main centers. I'm probably going to be looking at is Bam Adebayo, Dwight Howard, and most likely James Wiseman. I hate playing James Wiseman, but that matchup is too nice. I wish Alex Len was a little cheaper. Uh, 4-2 is a little pricey for him, but he does provide a nice ceiling. You can take a chance on Robin Lopez, who's a little cheaper, but I hate playing him as well. Only saw 7 minutes last game, but he can get you 20 plus minutes. But like you said before the show, he doesn't really do much, and you never know what Washington's going to do with their centers. Sometimes they'll run one center first half, and then the other center half second half. So it's tough to decide on those Washington centers, but both of them are good for GPPs.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's all that we have for you guys today. So, Joey, give me a bold call, quick.
Bull call is Russell Westbrook gets a 30-point triple double.
I like it. I will go. James Weissman gets a 20-point double double.
I like it as well. Great matchup, high paced game. All right.
As always, you guys can go to dfskarma.com, get our free articles. That is also where you can get our new props package. You can get our NBA court plays. We have MLB coming up. I believe that we will have a podcast prior to the season, breaking down like World Series teams and stuff. So a lot of stuff coming. dfskarma.com. But for now, good luck tonight.